Bernita did not lie. I do love you, and I believe you love me. And it's all good because most of us are adults, and we do realize that sometimes, some days, people that love each other don't necessarily like each other, and that's life. And that's a short time. Uh, I'm not gonna be sharing from Jeremiah, and I'm actually going to go in the Brit Hadashah for all of you New Testament saints. Uh, we were talking last night, some of the men, and we were going over something in Genesis, and I won't get into that. But when I got home, uh, I started reviewing some of what was said and was looking at some things, and just like, and we're going to get into this today, it's in Luke. We'll be in Luke chapter 1, and we'll be starting around verse 26. But I, I would throw this out, that when Adam, in creation, when Adam was created, and the things that transpired, or the things that transacted, because it was a specific place, and he received specific instructions, you could say a covenant was formed. Now, I know some of us say, well, wait a minute. In order for a covenant or any type of agreement, there has to be agreement. I want to touch on this thing with motherhood. And just like I submitted to you that possibly a type of covenant was created after everything had been set up and they were given instructions. They were given instructions, and they were given, and in the instructions was a prohibition. All right? And going back to Adam and Eve, and or Ish and Isha, or however you want to call them. He says, all this I've prepared for you. Dress it and keep it. And then he had some other things that he shared, and basically it was like, hey, this is yours. With Mary, or Miriam, when the angel approached her, he greeted her a certain way, which kind of caught her off guard. It surprised her, and we'll get into that. But I'm saying the overarching theme is motherhood came into existence the way we know it, quite possibly because another covenant was made. Now we'll get into this. Oh, and something that all mothers, grandmothers, aunts, they're vitally important in a child's life, particularly between the ages, particularly between 1 and 13. I mean, they're vital all the way, but really 1 through 13, it's really key because all the necessary nurturing and things of that nature are shared and things are poured into us. And, you know, at that age between 1 and 12 and 13, you know, most of us know about the terrible twos. And, you know, some of us had the terrible 1 through 13. And our mothers, they loved us. And they took great risks bringing us here. You see, and you all know, some mothers gave birth, but they passed. Mothers, like fathers, like parents or guardians, most of us have been blessed as to where we have had as much access as we could tolerate. And the Most High, you know, and all of this, and I'm not going to stay on this, all of this is still dealing with becoming too casual about things. See, we are grateful, but if we're not careful, we'll become casual even about our mothers, particularly as we get older. And for boys, you know, I'm sure a lot of us in our quiet moments might wish we had had more conversations with our mothers, particularly if your mother, our moms could see things in us that neighbors and maybe other people and maybe even other relatives might not see. Our moms could see us for who we were, not who we projected. See, because a lot of us, we know, we learn early. We learn how to conduct ourselves when we came to church, even as kids. And that was through training. And with guys, I hope that a lot of guys got to take advantage in a good way, I'm talking about, with conversations with their moms, but it depends on how comfortable you were discussing things with your mother. Uh, I was truly blessed in that I had the type of mother that most conversations that went on in their household, she seemed to have an ear. And sometimes that was good, and sometimes it wasn't so good, depending on what my conversation was on the phone. And if we took advantage of the wisdom that they shared with us, I, I, you're as right as rain, mellow as a shower on a summer's day. You're as right as rain, softer than a flower, sweet as marmalade. You're made that way. Every man has a secret dream. Quiet thoughts trap his inner need to open up and tell someone all the things he's hiding from. Sometimes it's a childish game we play, but I don't feel that way, 'cause you're as right as rain, mellow as a shower on a summer's day. You're as right as rain, softer than a flower, sweet as marmalade. Mothers are precious. Give an ear. 26. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a city in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man named Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Miriam. Approaching her, the angel said, "Shalom, favored lady. Adonai is with you." She was deeply troubled by his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Don't be afraid, Miriam, for you have found favor with God. Look, you will become pregnant. You will give birth to a son, and you are to name him Yeshua. He will be great. He will be called Son of Ha Elyon, Adonai, God. God will give him the throne of his forefather David, and he will rule the house of Jacob forever. There will be no end to his kingdom." "How can this be?" asked Miriam of the angel, "since I am a virgin?" The angel answered her, "The Ruach HaKodesh will come over you. The power of Ha Elyon will cover you. Therefore, the holy child born to you will be called the Son of God." Then he went even further. He says, "You have a relative, Elisheva, or Elizabeth, we would say in English, who is an old woman, and everyone says she is barren. But she has conceived a son and is 6 months pregnant. For with God, nothing is impossible. Here's where I think the covenant was cemented. Miriam said, I am the servant of Adonai. May it happen to me as you have said. Then the angel left her. You see, even sometimes when we say we get a word or we get a stirring or a moving or whatever, if you receive it, you'll take it in, and most of us would say, well, be it as you say. Let me let you hear this a different way, how we're used to hearing it. This thing with motherhood, it's a necessary thing because, going back into the garden, remember, with all he showed them, all of what they had that would be subject to them, and he told them what? Be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. Give an ear. 26, again, out of the version that we're all familiar with. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou art highly favored. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast in her mind, what manner of salutation should this be? This should be. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. He shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest, and the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. Then Mary said unto the angel, How shall this be, seeing I know not a man? Now we know when they use the word know, they mean in the biblical. That's why you people will say he knew his wife in the biblical sense. And the angel answered and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also the holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she hath also conceived a son in her old age, and this is the 6th month with her, who was called barren. For with God nothing shall be impossible. And Mary said, Behold, the handmaid of the Lord. Be it unto me according to thy word. And the angel departed from her. So the angel got the okay. Gabriel got she gave him the thumbs up. Okay. All right, you said it, okay. I agree. Mothers go through a lot, and of course, obviously it's something I read, but your body goes through so many changes. And there's no easy process about any of it. And there are a lot of things that men can do that ladies can't do. And there are a lot of things ladies can do that men can't do. Even though some mixed up people are trying to delve into that too. But in staying with the framework, the way the Most High set things up, every mother in her heart and mind submitted to becoming a mother. And what I'm trying to do is tie in what Gabriel shared with Miriam I don't know how else to say it, the deal that the Most High made with Miriam, he made it with the mothers. And just like Miriam said, so be it, one way or another, the mothers said, so be it. Who was the mother that said, I have gotten a man from the Lord? I forget which one of their wives it was. Motherhood is a sacred thing because those that really understand the importance of molding and shaping their offspring. See, the order of God says that as the man is the head, his helpmeet is in a position of support. And that's a very, very, very important position. It's not a lesser position as some of us have erroneously thought. A lot of people are always asking, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And I would encourage them to go back to Genesis because things were being set in order. And the things that he laid out and set out before them and the instructions that he gave them, that talked about the order. And the order never changed. Mothers are blessed with, we'll say, I know they say women's intuition, yes, but mothers have a knowing about the entire framework of the family. Yes, I know, the father, he's protecting and he's providing. But it's the mother that makes a house a home. It's a good mother, and even a mother in training. That that bond. I mean, because our nourishment comes directly from her. Even when we're on the way, we're living off of we all lived off of our mothers before we got here. They're worth, I like to put it this way, moms put the work in. Moms put the work in. In fact, they used to have a saying, something about a woman's work is never done. I know some of you all probably can recite that whole poem. But the ages between, one, infancy, and up to 12 or 13, it appears moms play a greater role in a child's life than the father, because usually he's out trying to provide. That little song I tried to do was one of the stylistic songs. It's called You're as Right as Rain. Some of y'all probably knew it, but you wanted to act like you didn't because you're in church. But see, if we fully utilize all that the Most High blessed us with, we would take time to just talk with our mothers, because they have a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of wisdom. Yeah, they, like everybody else, they got their issues too. But good mothers can put their issues to the side and deal with their children. Some of us have been in situations and the child is crying, and sometimes the father might try to pick them up, and then they cry even louder. But sometimes. But then, the mother gets them, and it's like she knows almost instinctively what to do. See, that comes from the Most High. Even new mothers, because I can only imagine you're uncomfortable, you're in pain, and I'm thinking about when I two of my godchildren in Houston, I drove their mom to the hospital when she was ready to deliver. And I saw the change from the time they announced that they were having a baby, and I was able to come over for dinner, and she seemed always pleasant to me. But sometimes just the sight of her husband seemed to irritate her. And that was because her body was going through a lot of changes at the time. Mothers, we have respect for you even when we say something silly out of our mouths. Because when we start looking at all of what happens, even when you have a midwife or you have medical staff or whatever. The Most High is looking in on things because, like I said, sometimes things don't always go a certain way. And it started on my way leaving here. Uh, I keep saying that, for guys, because I know I know how things were in my household uh, with my mom and my sister, and they loved each other. But my dad was saying, "Boy, while you was away at school, it was World War III up in there." But a lot of that, even though I felt for him because they would come to him, and of course, my mom's like, hey, because they used to always kid, it's us versus y'all. And she just said, me and your daddy gonna take y'all inheritance and buy a Winnebago and travel. But moms, our moms had the strength that they could handle whatever we had the courage and the honesty to share. We wouldn't think so. A lot of us wouldn't think so, particularly the guys, because I know my sister got so to where she would tell my mother everything, and my mother would be like, Shirley, don't tell me no more. Don't tell me no more. But she used to always say, listen, if you're wrong, you're wrong. But I'm going to stand with you. But she said, but if you're wrong, you're wrong. And then when you look in situations, everybody in the family can say, he's hopeless. Moms and grandmas are always the last to just, they hold out hope. And this thing, this covenant, they held it precious. You see, I know I said from 1 to 12, but really it's for the rest of our lives. Now. There is a time in a man's life where, now, again, just like dad is always dad, mom is always mom. But where Torah comes in and where having a relationship with the Most High, remembering the covenant that you have with the Most High, some know when to back off just a bit. Some are learning. See, a wise mom will help formulate a good husband for someone else's daughter. Let me say that again, because there's a lot of truth in that. A wise mother will help formulate her son to be a good husband for someone else's daughter. What type of situations do we have now? Uh, the institution of marriage is going down. We now have, I think what they call them now, the new term is situationships. See, I watch YouTube a lot. We have situationships. And again, listen, I'm concerned. I mean, we're all concerned, I believe. I believe we're all concerned. And I'm saying that, again, from a guy's perspective, because it's some things guys only share with their buddies. But as you reach adulthood, mom would always have a listening ear, and wise mothers are also real nosy. That's a good thing. Even though, depending on what we into, we see it as a hindrance. Even those that have been in a mother's role, the nurturing and the caring and the I was thinking about my sister Edgar's son Tyler. He finished high school in Virginia because he was living with them. And he graduated and finished college and all of that. But he did so well that Edgar's brother wanted to send two of his kids over. And Sherry was like, because it's hard work. It's hard work. It's more to it than just, fixing them something to eat and did you do your homework and then, And, I'm just, sometimes we might sit there and say, did I do enough? I remember I was talking to Nellie's mother-in-law, my auntie. We call her auntie. Y'all knew her as Ann Bradley, my mom's sister. And I remember, my mom had gone on, and I was talking with auntie, and I said, auntie, because I was one that, I loved her, but, I wasn't into a whole lot of the hugging and stuff like that. But, I mean, you do something, I'm coming after you. But I was talking with auntie, and I said, I said, man, she did so much. I mean, she stayed on me, and it was good that she did because she knew me. She knew that I truly was the Eddie Haskell type, around parents, say the right thing, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, da-da-da-da-da-da. But, remember, my mother was the same woman that saw me go over to Miss Graves' house, the lady next door, and cut some flowers take some flowers out of her yard and gave them to my second grade teacher because I had a crush on my second grade teacher. I got a whipping. Then I had to go over to Miss Graves' house and tell her what I had done. And of course, Miss Graves, she had 3 of her own. She said, "That's okay, baby." But I knew that wasn't okay. She said, "That's okay." But it didn't stop there. Then I had to go to school and tell my second grade teacher what I did. And I still got a whipping. Moms, if your mother's still here, or your grandmother, or your aunt, or your caretaker, don't abandon that time. Call her. Go see her. That means so much to them. Oh, and my grandmother, my mother's mother. I was going to St. Paul, and I told Granny, "I'm coming to see you before I go." Got to running around doing what I wanted to do. I had intended to go, but it got late. And I didn't want to be, well, it was going to still be dark by the time I got back to campus. So what did I do? I called my grandma. And I told her I was going to come see her before I go back to school. And I didn't. I just went back. I think it was on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and back then, kids didn't have phones in their room, and we didn't have all of that. There was one pay phone in the men's dorm on each floor. And when the phone would ring, somebody would answer it, and then they'd say, they come to your room, knock on the door, "Hey, you got a phone call." And I had lied. I think I was going back a Sunday. I went to my parents' house, stole a bunch of canned goods and stuff, took them back. And I said, "Oh, I'll see her next time." That's what I said. That's what I was thinking. That's what I pacified. That's what my evil inclination said. It'll be all right. You go on, man. You go on, get back. Time running out. Well, that Wednesday or Thursday, my mother had called, and a guy said, "Hey, we got a phone call," and it was my mother. And she said, "Granny's gone." And immediately, the last thing I remembered was, "You lied to your grandmother." And that thing stayed with me a long time. A long time. And see, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because sometimes, see, I had gotten comfortable with life as I knew it. You go home, you wait till your parents, you hope they ain't home when you go. You raid the pantry. You take the stuff you like. Now, other people live there. They got to eat. But who am I looking out for? I'm looking out for me. And I took for granted she'll be there the next time I come. And saints, again, I'm not throwing shade, but I'm telling you, all of us need to be careful about getting too comfortable with life as we experience it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I remember one of the sisters here, she was, her mother was ill, and she was looking after her mother and everything, and we all, you know, we do what we can, and the thing about moms, she was sharing with me, you know, because, you know, you want your folks to live forever, and you want to live forever too. And a lot of times you're troubled, and you know, we're beseeching God on their behalf. And I think they were having a conversation, and her mother conveyed to her basically, she was like, "Hey, look, I don't know how she said it. That's between them and none of my business." But what she conveyed to me was, I think her mother said to her, "Look, I'm kind of tired and I'm ready to go." And what that did, I think it gave her some relief. Because sometimes we praying that they stay, and for all we know, they might be saying, "Hey, get me out of here." Something else about a mother. There are sometimes, mothers know sometimes when there's friction in the family among her children. And some mothers have said they want to go, but I'm not leaving and you all are at odds. Who else would have that kind of discernment but a mother? Think about that. See, there's a body of wisdom that I wonder, did we draw enough from, or did we kind of, well, you know, that's mom, and, you know, I'll catch you next time. I remember when Pastor Hodge shared, you know, that his mother wasn't doing well, and he was hustling and bustling, trying to get back here, and I pulled him to the side, and I said, "Look, man, he probably remember this." I said, "Look, I ain't trying to get in your business." I said, and I was just blunt with him. I said, "Don't worry about here. I said, I don't care." I said, "Man, if you don't miss this opportunity." I said, if it's nothing more than you sitting in the room and she sleep, don't miss this opportunity. And it is not, and I'm not saying like he probably was going to do that. I don't know, but I saw him breaking his neck, trying to get down here, trying to do some things, and I'm like, and I told him, I don't want you to live with the regret that I got. Now, the situations were a little different because for whatever reason, only 3 people knew how serious things were with my mom. I think it was her sister and my dad. And if you tell my dad not to say nothing, he ain't gonna say nothing. So we didn't know, because she wanted us, I guess, to go on. But that kind of wrecked us. That kind of wrecked us. And I didn't want Donnie. I said, "Man, this is not a good feeling." I think he remembered that too. I think he remembered that. But I was serious. But again, I wasn't trying to tell him how to live his life. But I was like, man, see the thing about parents, the thing about our loved ones, for a while, once they're gone, they're gone. For a period of time, those of us that believe a certain way. What am I saying? What am I saying? I'm saying they precious. Mothers are precious. And they are a gift to us, and we are a gift to them. Now, I know, as we go, now I can think of somebody else. They had the privilege, and it wasn't easy. They had the privilege of taking care of their mother. That hit me again. I was like, man, boy, would I have liked that opportunity. But she wanted to go out the way she wanted to go out. And of course they're heartbroken. Of course it was tough. But I think they understand it was a privilege. Our folks, our moms, our dads, we got to appreciate them, man. For real. Even if you miss Mother's Day, miss Father's Day, sometimes just love on them just because they still here. I'm serious. Let's kind of shake off this casualness. I'm not fussing. I just feel full today, and I salute all of your mothers, because it ain't easy, and I don't know the half of it. But even somebody the outside looking in, moms, they worry about everybody in the house. And I know sometimes that can pluck y'all nerves about guys, because we just seem like when our head hit the pillow, we sleep. It's not that we don't care, it's just that you have more capacity. He's giving you more capacity to ponder the things. Think about what was said to Miriam by Gabriel. And think about even how Yeshua, what did it say? When they went on that trip, I guess to pay taxes or whatever, and he cost the camp 2 or 3 days journey, because he in the thing talking with the rabbis, I guess, or whatever. Now, we hear that in church and we go, oh, he was so super spiritual. His folks was upset with him. 3 days journey, it won't like they could jump in their car and, all right, come on, Jesus. No, that cost them a lot. The whole camp had to hold it. We're going to get him, come back. Remember at the wedding? The celebration? They was doing the Churchill slide. And he came to the wedding. He showed up. He was like, okay. Showing up. And his mother, the wine was getting kind of low. And his mother said, hey, Yeshua, man, we're getting low on libations over here. That's my translation. And he said, and he said, most of us guys, we said, oh, Ma. Sometimes she asks you to do something. Oh, Ma. That's kind of what he said, but he said it this way. He said, woman, what have I to do with thee? But guess what? He did what his mother told him to do. And she said, well, she was directing stuff. Hey, y'all go get this, and just do what he tell you to do. And of course, we know he turned the water into wine. What am I saying? He was obedient to his mother. Now, I know that from the age of about 12 or 13 till about 30, supposedly there's very little information about his life. That's what people say. But I believe Pastor used to always say, truth will rise from the ground. And more information is becoming available. Even the Dead Sea Scrolls, the information on the Dead Sea Scrolls is now being made available to other believers. You know, the thing, and I know this is Mother's Day, but the thing that irritates me is, why is it that only certain people get to commandeer stuff for years and then they turn it over to the rest of the world? Who in Sam Hill are they? Why are they allowed to do this? I'm going back to Mother's Day. But why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because saints, you've heard me say, more happened than what was just written on these pages. Remember that. More happened than just what was written on these pages. I'm going to close because I see Reg. In our appreciation of mothers, you know, my prayer and my hope is that where you can, in your family, if your mom has gone, hopefully you got an aunt, a grandmother, or a grandparent, or somebody that you can show some love to. And not just today or tomorrow, but remember some of the things that I shared. And I just, please, folks, let's appreciate the people that are still in our lives, for real. But today we concentrating on moms and grandmas and aunts and all of that. I'm hungry. And I salute every one of you that are mothers. God bless you.